A sigh, a delicate rustling of silk, a slow, deliberate tracing of a fingertip across a chipped teacup. Honestly, darling, one develops standards. It is simply a matter of conditioning, you see. Growing up amidst the faded grandeur of Kyiv, surrounded by antiques whispering stories of Tsars and revolutions, it breeds a certain discomfort with the merely adequate. My grandmother, bless her soul, she'd faint at the very thought of accepting less than perfectly polished silver. And I seem to have inherited her particularities. It's just vulgar, isn't it, to accept shoddiness. Especially when one has, shall we say, options. I had been dreaming, quite honestly, of a little slice of paradise. Hikkaduwa, Sri Lanka, pictures of turquoise waters, swaying palms, bliss, a respite from everything. My advisor, bless his heart though truly, sometimes I question his judgment, insisted it would be grounding. As if I require grounding. As if a girl whose family funded half the opera in Vienna needs to be reminded of the common realities of life. But darling, he spoke of authenticity. How droll. Lavanga Resort Spa Hikkaduwa. The name itself promised elegance, a hushed sanctuary. What I received, well, it began, as all tragedies do, with an elevator. A small, humorless chuckle. The elevator, oh the elevator. It wasn't merely nearly broken, as some would so politely phrase it. This wasn't a case of a slightly rattling car. No. This was a Victorian-era death trap masquerading as vertical transportation. The carpet, you see, was not simply dirty. It was an archaeological dig of forgotten sins, a tapestry of crushed biscuits, indeterminate stains, and I swear, a single desiccated beetle. A beetle, darling, it made one question what else lurked within the fibers, and the door, it shuddered with each ascent, emitting a groan that sounded suspiciously like a dying whale. A whale. A creature of the open ocean trapped in this metallic coffin. The lack of safety, it simply screamed negligence, you know. Like these things can fall apart and kill someone, they just didn't care. And the scent, oh the scent. It's like imagine your grandmother's perfume being left in a damp cellar for a decade. Musty, stale, with a hint of despair. A smell that clings to one's nostrils, refusing to be dislodged. Which naturally meant my exquisitely chosen silk scarf absorbed the horror. A €50 scarf just ruined, honestly the sheer disrespect for luxury. It offended my sensibilities. Then the room, a sharp intake of breath. Dirty is, frankly, an understatement. The walls were not merely lacking in cleanliness, they were actively hostile. Wallpaper was peeling like sunburnt skin, revealing layers of questionable history. It is like witnessing a slow-motion decay, and honestly, it's triggering. And the ceiling, sweet heavens, darling, the ceiling. Tiles were threatening to detach themselves, poised like miniature icicles of doom. Imagine being serenaded to sleep by the imminent threat of plaster falling on your head. What is the probability of that, do you think? As a statistically minded girl, these things weigh on my soul. The linen, oh the linen. One expects clean sheets at establishment, wouldn't you agree? It's not an outlandish request, but these felt as though they'd been used as a communal napping spot for a particularly grubby colony of feral cats. Visible hairs, darling hairs, and not the fine, silken strands of a pampered Persian. Oh no, these were robust, bristly, the kind of hairs that suggest a life lived a little too close to the earth. It is a biohazard, frankly. You are essentially sleeping in other people's microscopic eco.
Okay, so I was looking into things happening around Lavanga Resort Spa, Hikkaduwa, you know, because people are going there for vacation and should probably be aware. It is not a happy thing to talk about, honestly. But it is better to know, right? Businesses near Lavanga Resort Spa, Hikkaduwa, they really inflate the prices for tourists. It is so obvious, honestly. Like you walk into a gem shop, there are a lot around there, pretty ones, you know, and they show you something and tell you it's like a super rare sapphire. But it's just glass, basically. They start at a price 10 times what it is worth. They expect you to bargain, but they're still ripping you off, even after you think you've gotten a deal. I bet the person who got scammed like that just felt so stupid afterward. Probably went back home and didn't tell anyone because they were embarrassed. And the shop owner, they just moved on to the next tourist, you know, probably made a bonus that day. Then businesses near Lavanga Resort Spa, Hikkaduwa, tend to be crafty with authentic souvenirs. You go to a little shop, wanting a wood carving, something to remember your trip. They tell you it is handmade by a local artisan, been in their family for generations. But it was made in a factory yesterday, probably. They add $20 onto the price just for the story. It is so pathetic, really. The tourist probably displays it proudly, thinking they supported a local, and the seller is just counting their money. I bet that souvenir just sits on a shelf collecting dust, a reminder of being tricked. And this one, it's even worse. Businesses near Lavanga Resort Spa, Hikkaduwa, sometimes do the classic broken meter trick with tuk-tuks. You hop in, agree on a price to get back to Lavanga Resort Spa, Hikkaduwa, and then the driver claims the meter is broken, and suddenly the fare is double. It has such a small thing, but it feels so violating, you know? Like they taking advantage of you because you a foreigner. The tourist likely argued, maybe even paid the inflated price just to get away from the driver. They probably spent the rest of their vacation feeling distrustful of everyone. The driver probably laughed about it with his friends later. Seriously, how could you do that to someone? It's just depressing, honestly. You go to a beautiful place like near Lavanga Resort Spa, Hikkaduwa, you want to relax, have a good time. But there's always someone trying to take advantage of you. It makes you feel small. I don't know, it just feels wrong.
The reality of businesses near Lavanga Resort Spa, Hikkaduwa. The businesses near Lavanga Resort Spa, Hikkaduwa are a lesson in disappointment. If you were expecting charm, quality, or even basic competence, lower those expectations now. This is not a place where standards are upheld. This is a place where corners are cut, where hygiene is optional, and where the word hospitality seems to have been forgotten entirely. Let's start with the hotels. The accommodations around Lavanga Resort Spa are, in a word, unreliable. Hikka Tranz by Cinnamon, for example, is supposed to be a 4-star experience. Instead, guests report cockroaches crawling over beds, geckos watching from the walls, and air conditioning units loud enough to drown out any hope of sleep. One family celebrating a birthday was given a room with no mattress for their baby, just a hard cot. When they complained, management offered them a suite, which turned out to be an insectarium. This is not an isolated incident. Multiple reviews mention wristbands that make guests feel like prisoners, security guards who treat them like trespassers, and housekeeping that seems to believe turning a muddy towel upside down counts as clean. Then there's Refresh-Hotel. The name suggests renewal, but the reality is decay. Guests arrive expecting a rooftop bar only to be directed across the street to some unrelated restaurant. The pool, often locked, the food overpriced and undercooked. One visitor ordered oysters only to be served what smelled like sewage. When they protested, the staff insisted the seafood was fresh, right up until another customer warned them never to order it. The management solution, offering free food as if that could erase the risk of food poisoning. Restaurants in the area follow the same pattern. Refresh Beach Restaurant promises fresh seafood by the ocean, but the reality is salt without substance. Fried rice arrives so salty it's inedible, drinks are mixed wrong, and the staff's idea of customer service is turning off the lights while guests are still eating. One diner asked about pizza sizes, only to be met with an angry gesture and the explanation, "This is Sri Lanka." As if that excuses serving miniature, overpriced disappointment. Salty Swamis takes the concept of overrated to new heights. The ocean view is beautiful, but the food is a gamble. Some guests find worms in their hummus. Others get food poisoning within 30 minutes of eating. The staff's response, charging them for the contaminated dish and the complimentary cake meant to apologize for it. The prices are inflated, the service is slow, and the only thing consistent is the disappointment. Then there's Vibrationhotel, a name that might make you think of energy, but really it's just noise. Loud, obnoxious parties that go until 5 a.m. with a side of blatant racism. Locals report being charged entry fees while foreigners walk in free. Staff members have been accused of aggressive behavior, refusing service based on skin color, and treating Asian guests like second-class customers. One reviewer described it as the worst place in Hikkaduwa, and after reading the stories, it's hard to disagree. Top Secret rounds out the misery with burned food, incorrect orders, and waitstaff who move at the speed of a sleepy sloth. One couple waited 90 minutes for 2 Cokes, only to be charged an absurd fee when they tried to leave. Another guest unwrapped their takeaway pizza to find it covered in paprika.